Oh yeah, in that regard, Your Honor,
Many of those do not interrupt me, including many that I don't even know the connection. Court has this judge, if on receiving.
what are the other options? I'm requesting that all the charges are dismissed. A motion for all dismissal on all these charges.
They're not going to be dismissed.
Your Honor, I have a 14th Amendment due process, and a lot of these are facially invalid, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
A lot of these charges, especially the lawful custody, escape from lawful custody, it's facially invalid. Well, I've called the prosecutor.
Mr. Magoo, we go through this every time. So here's what I'm going to do. Call the case of the people versus Daniel Magoo. State your name.
Daniel Magoo. Your Honor, I have in regards to case number 25F4-523, I have a couple things I'd like to point out about a couple of the matters here today.
Go ahead.
In regards to count 3, MCL 750197, lawfully detained or imprisoned in jail or confinement. Judging by the definition of the statute itself, Your Honor, it compels us to conclude that one has to be lawfully imprisoned or in jail. Jail being a facility operated by a local unit of government for detention of persons charged. At this location, defendant was located in a hospital and not a confinement by government agency or jail. So I'm requesting that charge is invalid.
That were going to be addressed. That would be addressed at a preliminary examination, sir, as to the sufficiency of the charge. So if you're making a motion that I dismiss it at this point, that motion's denied.
Okay. Further in count 2 and count 1, actually, Your Honor, both of these were, I don't know the procedural process or when it should get raised, but both of them are Fourth Amendment violations. And furthermore, on count 2, MCL 257.904, that the license of the defendant was revoked or suspended, given the statute as well, Your Honor, that would require the prosecutor to prove that the license was revoked or suspended at the time of the arrest, and that defendant was notified, and that the defendant operated a vehicle on a highway or roadway. I challenged the prosecutor to prove all three.
Sir,
Yes,
do you wish to have a preliminary examination in this?
I'm making sure we're prepared for it, but yes.
What'd you say?
Making sure we're prepared for it, but yes, I am. What are the other options? I'm requesting that all the charges are dismissed. A motion for all dismissal on all these charges.
They're not going to be dismissed.
No, okay.
So if you want a preliminary examination and make your arguments, then it might be that they would be dismissed at that point, but they're not going to be dismissed on an oral motion. So, Mr. Magoo, are you going to have an objection to an adjournment so that you can see all of the discovery that they have prior to setting this for preliminary examination?
Your Honor, I didn't know what hearing I was prepared for today. I was preparing to cross-examine the officers today, with or without the video evidence. So, given that that's not the case and the officers are not here, I would like a speedy trial. I would like to invoke my right to a speedy trial.
So you want your preliminary examination. Those are coming down to the jail to him. Just ask, do you still wish on representing yourself, sir?
Your Honor, I do. I will. I have requested assistance given that I am incarcerated and I have no way to.
You wish to be represented by an attorney, sir?
I would like legal assistance.
What do you mean by that? Would you like to be represented by?
I've called the prosecutor.
Mr. Magoo, we go through this every time. So here's what I'm going to do.
Daniel Magoo has spent this entire hearing acting like he had a law degree, and then when Judge Simpson finally corners him in on the lawyer question, he folds immediately and says yes. I mean, that's honestly the part that gets me every single time with these sovereign idiots. They come in with motions, case citations, even amendment arguments, and the second Judge Simpson calls their bluff, they quietly ask for a public defender like always. I mean, Judge Judge Simpson literally said we go through this every single time, and that single line tells you more about Daniel Magoo than anything else in this entire hearing. I mean, this guy literally filed a civil lawsuit against the judge who is currently presiding over his case, and it just cracks me up when Judge Simpson called it frivolous to his face and kept going on without missing a beat. And I will have to agree with Judge Simpson. I feel like that move was clearly designed to force a recusal and pretty much just get the whole case thrown out. And obviously Judge Simpson saw right through it in about 10 seconds. So at this point, I just feel like Daniel Magoo isn't fighting the legal system. He's just creating as much paperwork and chaos as possible and hoping something sticks.
I'm going to advise you that there are great perils in representing oneself. I've told you about that before on numerous occasions. That I would treat you the same as I would treat anybody else. You would have to know the Michigan court rules. You'd have to know courtroom procedure, and that you would be treated the same, not any more favorably, not any worse, as you would go through these proceedings. If you wish to represent yourself, you may proceed with the court's admonishment. I advise you as to the penalty, the charges, the maximum penalties. I will now ask you the question, and I'm not going to just keep going around and around in circles when I ask you this question. Do you wish to be represented by counsel? If you wish to be represented by counsel, this court will ensure that counsel is appointed to represent you.
If
That is a yes or no.
I would like legal assistance, yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to take that as your request for counsel, is how I'm going to take that. And so these two cases now become public defender cases.
Thank you, Judge. George Shafisa, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of the defendant. I believe Your Honor has already agreed to set this for examination.
I will set these for preliminary examination.
Okay.
Well, Your Honor, I would ask, given that one of these cases, in regards to the March 27, 2024 case, there is an undue delay. It's been over, I think, 390 some days since the warrant was requested, and this triggers due process violations under U.S. versus Levasco, People versus Bassard, People versus Rosengreen, and procedural unfairness, Sixth Amendment violations, and I do request that the prosecutor provide provide information in regards to the three-pronged test under People versus Hernandez. One of them, first test being the explanation for the undue delay for 390 some days. The second part of that test being to prove that the delay was not deliberate. And then the third part of the delay or the prong test is to make sure that there was no undue burden on or prejudice on the defendant. And in that regards, Your Honor, I also am requesting that I do have due process 14th Amendment rights as well as 8th Amendment rights. And a lot of these are facially invalid. A lot of these charges are facially invalid. And I'm just requesting that the court grant a personal reconnaissance on my behalf. And for both of these charges, being that we're looking at really just misdemeanors, $500 misdemeanors. So
I think he's requesting, Your Honor, amend his bond, and he's requesting a release, Your Honor, PR bond.
So he's asked for a preliminary examination, and I realize where this may be. My understanding is that he is still held, regardless of what the bond would, in this case, he's being held without bond in Judge Slay's case. That his bond has been denied. So
That's what I
would
Mr. Choda said.
in any event, but also given the fact that one of the charges is the escape from lawful custody, that in and of itself, in this court's mind, makes the defendant a danger for a risk of flight. Also, the nature of the charges, the fleeing and eluding police officers, as well as the operating while intoxicated, now at least alleged his third time around. Also, this court's mind, the defendant, this court would consider a danger to the public. So the extent that he is asking that I modify his bond conditions in his bond in this case,
I have,
That motion is denied. Bond will continue as it is.
Your Honor, I have a 14th Amendment due process to the presumption of innocence. And,
I understand the presumption of innocence.
and a lot of these are
Day for
facially
26
invalid, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
A lot of these charges, especially the lawful custody, escape from lawful custody, it's facially invalid. I was at a hospital, not a jail.
If you were under the custody of the Washtenaw County Sheriff's
I was
Office,
not.
I understand.
I was not.
Custody of.
I was dropped off at the hospital and they later tacked on
And
charges
you know
just
what?
like the fleeing and
evidence
eluding
will
charge.
Not meet that out, and that if that's true, and the people can't sustain that element, then the charge will be dismissed. But I'm not dismissing it upon your representation today.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Preliminary examination in this matter will be set August 19th, 12 noon. That is before me for both of these cases. The defendant has elected, and I will disclose it, to file a civil claim as against me and a slew of other parties.
Oh yeah, in that regard, Your Honor,
Including many of those, do not interrupt me, including many that I don't even know the connection. Court has, this judge, upon receiving this, two things. I read through the complaint to determine whether or not it would on its face create a conflict with court. I consider it, quite frankly, to be frivolous. The complaint itself, do not see that as a necessity for me to recuse myself from this gentleman's proceedings, because I think that's precisely what he wants to have happen. It appears, and again, this is all part of his, what I will call shenanigans to shape this. He has filed against people of individuals without specific reference in the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office.
can I speak on that note, Your Honor?
I will let you talk, but I'm not going to let you go on in some diatribe. I've got other things to do.
I've stood on my rights and I've stood on my beliefs this whole entire time, especially in the previous case, Your Honor. That complaint is well pleaded. It does affect multiple parties of this jurisdiction. Washtenaw County is a named party, and I do believe that my impartiality and bias will be affected here, as it was in the past before this complaint. And I do request a change of venue on that note for both these matters.
If you wish to raise change of venue, you may file that in writing, but to the extent you are raising no motion for change of venue is denied.
Bond denied, change of venue denied, motion to dismiss denied. Judge Simpson shut down every single thing Daniel Magoo walked in with and didn't bat an eye. The sovereign citizen filed a lawsuit against his own judge, and it didn't even move the needle even slightly. Drop a comment and let me know if you guys want to see the third part of this guy's hearings. And let me know in the comments if you think this guy is nuts or if he's just a genius and we're all living in a different world. And yeah, guys, as always, if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.